Yo, what's up, guys? I just want to make a video today. Like, I just want to show my it's almost my final version, if you will. Like, it's kind of like the entire league, like my character just kind of coming to a close in a sense because like I basically ran out of upgrades on this character. But like we can go through everything and explain. Like, a lot of people ask what my weapon is. It's Energy Blade, which is this skill gem right here. Which basically what it does, it turns your ES into flat lightning damage. That's basically what it does for the most part. So basically the more ES you have, the better. As you see here, like without it toggled on, we have 32,000. Toggled on, boom, we have 30 or 20,000. So roughly 20,000. Could have a little bit more, but you know, I'm kind of choosing not to have it in a sense. But and here's the tree. I mean, today I was doing Alva, so I was using this. Like, I don't know. I'm really not a big fan of Alva though, so let's just get rid of that. And then normally we just use 15% shock here. But here's the tree. I mean, I feel like the Trickster lightning strike tree is pretty well figured out. It's like I definitely went a little different than my Frisia character, but we hit this ring, which in my opinion is like the god ring for what I'm doing, like etc. Could have had a better multi, but you know, it's int, crit multi, double, like this is rarity, prefix, and suffix. So it's actually a 5 positive, and it's all attributes, which all attributes are important because otherwise you need one of your cluster jewels to have all attributes on it, which I don't think it's ideal because you basically end up losing, you know, you lose 30% attack speed or whatever, 40% attack speed, which it's not ideal to say the least. But here, let's go over the rest of the gear. I have this shield. I don't think this is the optimal shield, but I don't think the optimal shield's been made yet. The optimal shield would have Bugged Abyss Jewel. It'd probably have block as well, but you'd also take the hybrid ES or block. And then you'd probably have increase or chance to deal double damage while focus. That'd be ideal. The suppress probably you'd want still. Technically, you can maybe make up the suppress elsewhere and have like crafted double damage or something, but I feel like the suppress is nice to have the wiggle room, right? And then for the helm, we have Bugged Abyss Jewel. And then this is Crusader. This is how I get my 2-piece Crusader for this. I guess 2-piece, I'm like saying in WoW terms, but basically it's if you have 2 Crusader items, you get 15% int. I guess everyone probably knows this by now, but there's that. And then this chest. So a lot of people ask global defense chest, attribute chest, and from what I saw, around like 2,500 int, you want to have the attributes over the global defense. It's pretty close up until that point. And then past that point, you just want the attributes. Flask effect's actually nice because, you know, you get a little bit more rarity mostly. For some people, it probably will get them to 90 Alres with like their Ruby Flask as well. So that's like another benefit. Obviously, it's going to be a little more crit, like a little more onslaught. So, I mean, you can go with that. Arctic Armor, like obviously, if there's a chest with that, that's probably the best defensive option. This is probably the best like all around, like, and it also just gives rarity. The main reason, like, I use this rarity, boom, done easy. Of course, Bugged Abyss Jewel, gloves. Basically, any item that can have a Bugged Abyss Jewel, if you notice, like, it's in there. A lot of people ask you about the sword. All you have to do is you craft any item with an Abyss Jewel, and when you switch it into Energy Blade, it'll keep basically the sockets will always stay the same. So if that's basically, and then these, of course, we got 4 of these. Basically, I want to put these anywhere I can. It's massive damage, so that's why I want a shield with it. Of course, we'd put another one in there. And then obviously Simplex Amulet, like any instacker. This is impossible to beat. I've literally POB'd any version of Simplex Amulet, like Reflected, etc. I just cannot find something that's gonna ever beat this. There's some things that are close in damage, but then you just lose 5,000 ES, and why would you lose 5,000 ES for like a few percent damage? It's just never worth it, right? These boots, I mean, I wouldn't say these are the ideal boots, but these are probably the best boots. I think ideally there would be no movement speed on it. In like an ideal world, I don't think I would go for movement speed, but end of the day, like, these are what exists, so we just put them on. Obviously an Abyss Jewel in there. Oh yeah, I guess this is like the one actual big, like, I haven't even touched on this, like, so someone gave me a Wild Strike one day and said, just try this. I put it on, and like, one thing about this skill gem is It has 100% pierce. Projectiles pierce all targets, so that's pretty sick. And they also chain. So basically, this allowed me to drop these points. It's like maybe 10% less damage, 20, maybe even 15% less than lightning strike. But at my gear level, like the DPS doesn't matter at all at this point. So I actually just switched to this recently, and I've just been liking it. So I've just been playing with. I've literally just been playing with Wild Strike. It's pretty sick. And then basically, if you want to use item rarity support Link, you just take out damage on full life. I guess I can show you that. Like, this is basically the swap, because when I'm doing Rogue Exiles, like, I'm always going to be running this, pretty much. So I'll just be running item rarity support Link. Perfect. And then Mageblood, the best would be Int with 30% rarity, 7% Int, but there really isn't any on the market. And it also needs pretty high dex. Like, obviously, you can drop a little bit of dex, but you can't drop all of it. And then, what else do we got here? I mean, the flask is just curse effect, rarity, stunned, and then chance to avoid being shocked. I was using Ancestral Vision for a long time, but basically, going Sublime just freed up a lot of sockets. I didn't really need the damage, so I just wanted the tankiness that 90 Alras provides me, so I just end up going Sublime. And then, of course, you use I mean, this is my party play one, but if you're solo, you want one with Wrath. I think ideally you could have Battle Mage Cry, like you want Battle Mage Cry, but I think Zealotry, if you have the right Watcher's Eye, actually ends up being just as good, probably. But ultimately, yeah. The Watcher's Eye that I would want, like, doesn't really exist. But right now, the Watcher's Eye one with, obviously, if you play Purity of Fire, you need 20% Watcher's Eye. And I need the crit, so the Wrath crit there. And then I just got one that had Wrath, like Lightning, yes. And of course you got Emperor's Wit, 6% in. I know in Freesia, I don't think it took this wheel, but I don't know. I noticed if you have a shield, like, I mean, that's 700 crit multi. I mean, basically that's, just read that. Like, it's 70 crit multi. It's pretty much, it's almost unbeatable in a sense, right? And then of course Sublime, Storm Shroud, Corrupted Blood. That's how we get Ailment immune. Emperor's Mastery. This wheel with Shock. I mean, you can also, like, alternatively take this wheel, or you can take this too. Where is it? Right here, Unnatural Calm, and then you get the 100% energy shield from equipped helmet if you really want. That's just like your more ES options. And the one thing I realized, I can't actually run light meaning, which at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. As you see, like, I'm not doing any of this weird pathing. I intentionally, like, dropped all this because I just hated, like, I don't know, it just feels so weird. Like, it feels like there's so many wasted points in here, and I just really didn't want to have it. And then also another thing, I've been going between playing Leech and playing no Leech, but I've just been keeping Instant Leech because, I don't know, it just ends up being like, sometimes you just have these map mod maps, or you just can't filter everything out, so I just end up like, this is just nice. You can run more map mods a lot of times, so obviously you have can't block. And then I still went with this. I had to get a Rocky Auto ones, because obviously if you play Purity Fire, this is a must. You have to have this. If you play Purity Fire and you do not have this, you're like hardcore trolling. Of course, we have +1 Rage here, +1 Rage here, double damage, crit. I feel like this is probably like, if you want to get Rage, which I don't know, this just feels the best. I like having 2 Rage. Just you're more consistently gonna have all your Rage, and all you're really giving up is like, I don't know, 5-10% double damage. End of the day, it doesn't really matter, and you also get 30 crit here, which is nice. Since I dropped my minimum frenzy charge ring, obviously you have to actually get the frenzy charge here, unless you just want to play without frenzy charge. I've been playing Eater Altar, so I mean, it might be ideal to like not even run frenzy charges, because there's the altar mod, which I'm gonna always click no matter what anyway, which is like reduced defenses per frenzy charge. So I mean, if you're running Eater Altars, maybe you just keep the crit chance with the minus multi. But other than that, that's basically the tree. Obviously, three 12 passives. If you didn't get that, that's all 12 passives. And then I feel like at some point maybe 5% attributes is better, but here I'll show you guys. That's 3078 versus 3037. So I swear I'm pretty sure there's an int level where the attributes is probably better, but I guess I'm not there. course, you get all these nodes, and then unfortunately, like, you know, these were when I bought this, it was 4 divines or something. Now they're like, you know, I think it's like a mirror roughly for the pair. It's like maybe 0.8 mirrors, so not ideal, but. And then the only rune graph I'm using right now is actually this one, just the aura. I don't even know if I actually need it, but I like having a little bit extra mana. Having like the extra mana is like nice for your tincture, which obviously I'm using the crit tincture. I have 27 quality one, so it gives like a lot of crit, 256 crit, 49% attack speed. So that's pretty nice. That's basically it for the build. Like, pretty much my build's like centered all around just doing rogue exiles, which as you see here, I have 453 rarity. If I really want to, I can actually. I have this helmet too, where this basically adds another what, 50 plus 20, 70. This will add like another 100 if I really want, but ultimately, and I just think the difference between like 450 rarity and like 600 is pretty inconsequential, to be honest. So I actually just like staying with this helm. That's pretty much it for the build. I don't know if you guys. I'm kind of looking for another build to like maybe switch to or play or try out. So if you guys have an idea or something you want to see, I'm leaning towards like Penance brand right now, just so I can do like maybe Abyss, since I've never tried doing like Abyss hordes. I wouldn't mind trying something like that, or I don't know. So leave in the comments if you want what you want to see next for the next build or next video. But I'm definitely like looking to make some sort of different build, since I feel like this build relatively is like, I feel like it's as min-max as it gets, and there's not much room for improvement, like, if that makes sense. I feel like the only thing that can really be improved at this point now is the shield, which as soon as one gets made, I'm gonna just instantly go get it, right? So we'll just instantly go mirror it. Like, the mirrors are starting to stack up. The rogue exiles, like, I'm still just doing rogue exiles. It's to me, that's just the most fun strat in the game. You just kill rogue exiles. They drop a lot of loot, huge explosions, drop mirrors. I guess like you guys can see this. So I've been playing like duo. So my duo picked up the other like 5 relatively. So I've dropped 12 mirrors total this league. Pretty good. 27 Magebloods. 25 locks as of recording this video. But that's that. I mean, if you want to compare it to, there's my free seer ring. I think I'm like on pace actually to maybe outdo free CL League, which would be pretty sick. Considering I figured there would never be a juicing league as good as free CL League, but we might be getting close. Other than that, that's all for this video. Let me know what you want to see for the next. Till next time.